Is Donald Trump not safe for children? Should GOP debates be rated TVMA? The New York Times reports that the rowdy Republican race has presented adults with a dilemma on how on earth do they explain Donald Trump to their children. One family recalls watching when Trump defended the size of his manhood. They told their 10-year-old son, "Tommy, you've got to leave. You've got to get out of here." And Tommy actually got up and ran out of the room. Well, his parents were yelling at him. Another dad wishes he could shield his daughter. He tells the Times, "I had this impulse to lock her away in an enchanted land where Donald Trump doesn't exist. But you can't." That's right. Donald Trump exists in Narnia, too. For young kids, a kindergarten teacher advises parents to tell them, "We try to treat people the way we would like to be treated, and somehow he's showing the exact opposite of that." For older children, another expert says parents should explain that Trump is a product of our branding culture and our selfie culture and our attraction to reality show television, where the brutal behavior is so brutal. These ideas are well and good, but I have a simpler suggestion. Just tell your kids they should get a fake ID and vote for Trump. How's that? Huh?
That's a great idea.
Liz, look.
Yes.
Why are parents letting their kids watch the debates anyway? I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and how do they explain MSNBC to them, too? I know, I'm kidding.
I don't know how you explain MSNBC to adults.
How do you explain Melissa Harris Perry to anyone? No.
It's true. You have to have these conversations. Right. If you invite the kid in the room when you're watching the news, which I don't think you should, I don't think they should watch your crazy show, Liz.
I think you're absolutely right. And here, whatever. So here, you know, I love all this fretting, right? Oh,
yeah.
How are we going to explain it? As we're watching Californication or, you know, Shameless or Girls or Kim Kardashian, and we've got to explain Donald Trump's hands. Come on, man up, everybody. Who cares?
Isn't that the truth, Liz? That we live in a culture that, I mean, where can you go where there's not this kind of behavior and people talking, making double entendres about the size of their whatevers, right, Dave?
Yeah, I think you are right. There's no 10-year-old who hasn't heard worse than this in American culture today. And maybe it reveals some of my inner sexism, but I'm a little more sympathetic to when it's a daughter. If you really have a problem with your 10-year-old son hearing this reference, you're a loser. I don't know. And I don't like, whenever a parent says, like, well, my kid is just so well behaved, that kid is the worst behaved kid in his class. I promise you. This is the kid who's making those jokes.
Oh, yeah, he's the one who's, when the teacher's not looking, he's teaching all the dirty words to the kids, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Though they did have, because in that same article they had the dad, his 12-year-old, he was like, my 12-year-old was just like, you know, Donald Trump's just speaking his mind. He's trying to get his opinion out there. And you're like, 12-year-olds don't talk that way.
Yeah.
People always have these poignant stories about what their kids do, but when you see their kids are covered in mud and pushing things over, you know?
I wish they were covered in mud in New York. I feel like these kids don't get down in the mud
enough mud.
Nathan, are you as sexist as Dave is? You think it's different for boys than girls?
More sexist. I don't even think women should be. No, I do think for sure that there's really no reason to have your 10-year-old watch a debate. It's insanity. Let your kid go play, look at a bird, or you grab an iPad. You know?
Yeah, I always say that to my kids when they're, you know, they're in the house, they're bothering me. I say, go look at a bird. For God's sake, right?
What did you do with the kid?
I stared at birds. Thousands and thousands of birds. I can name them all.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Kids should not be watching debates or anything politics or news. They should be watching what I watched when I was 10 years old, and that's Law and Order. Criminal Intent.
Oh, yeah.
You learn a lot about the world that way.
Mm-hmm.
No, but really, we shouldn't be blaming Donald Trump for bad parenting. I think that's really what it is, and I'm sorry, parents, but you got in a news article. Congratulations to you for sharing these quotes about your kids. But if it does come up and you hear that your child is bullying because they heard Donald Trump say something, well, it's a teachable moment, and don't we love those? Yeah. You can teach them about humility, about kindness, and tell them that politicians are not really regular people,
but
they're held to a different standard.
Kids know about this at least by age 10 anyway.
I mean, I was listening to Snoop Doggy Dogg.
I had Catholic catechism class, and my God, we had nuns coming in class. Sex is natural, just like a stroke. I mean, so we're like, what? We'll find it out, and then that's when we figured it out. That's what public libraries are for. You figure it out.
By the way, where was the outrage? It shouldn't even be against Trump. It should be against Cruz, I'm sorry, not Cruz, against Rubio, who's the one who inserted this in the beginning, right? It was he was the one.
How have we forgotten that Rubio, Trump was defending his size after Rubio said he was small?
Where was the outrage for that comment?
There you go.
By the way, this was a big deal when the Clinton-Monica Lewinsky scandal broke out, and their parents are really worried about their kids
I learned
finding
about
out
that
about
when
that.
I was 10.
Yeah,
You were
that was
tiny.
Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Joe
I
was
learned
little.
about that. I learned to dislike Hillary from a very young age.
That was it. I mean, we were talking about cigars, right?
Right. Close, but it was just a cigar. No, I'm just kidding.
And dresses. Dresses covered with what kinds of fluids?
Right.
This is insane.